The phone rings at exactly 3:15 in the afternoon, and just like that, my carefully constructed world starts to crack. I know it's 3:15 because I'm staring at the kitchen clock, mentally calculating how long until I need to start dinner, when Ben's name flashes across my screen. Summer, they lost everything. Ben's voice comes through ragged, desperate. The business, the house, their savings, all of it. I grip the counter, my knuckles turning white. What do you mean, everything? Bankruptcy. Dad's investment went south. They're being evicted next week. He pauses, and I already know what's coming. They need a place to stay. The words hit me like a physical blow. Henry and Carol Mitchell, the same people who spent the last 15 years making snide comments about our quaint lifestyle and modest home, now want to live under my roof. Ben, we don't have the space. It's not entirely true. We have Noah's old room, empty since he left for college, but the thought of them here makes my skin crawl. They're my parents, Summer. The same parents who called me a gold digger at our wedding. The bitterness flows freely now. The ones who told Noah he should be embarrassed about our zip code. That was different. They were different then. His voice cracks. They've lost everything. I close my eyes, remembering last Thanksgiving when Carol examined my silverware and whispered to Henry that it wasn't even real silver. How Henry laughed when Ben mentioned my promotion at the library, asking if that meant I could finally afford a proper car. Where are they now? At the country club. Dad's trying to negotiate one more week at their house. He sighs. Please, Summer, just until they figure something out. The irony of them plotting their next move at their precious country club isn't lost on me. And how long will that take? A month, maybe 2 at most. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. You actually believe that? What choice do we have? They're family. Family. The word sits heavy in my stomach. I think about Noah, away at college, blissfully unaware of the drama unfolding at home. I think about Grandma Rose, who owns this house and has never approved of the Mitchells' superior attitude. Grandma Rose needs to approve this, I say, knowing it's a weak attempt at resistance. It's her house. I'll talk to her, Ben says quickly. Just, please say yes. The desperation in his voice pulls at me, even as every instinct screams to refuse. I've spent 15 years being judged by Henry and Carol Mitchell, enduring their subtle digs and not-so-subtle criticism. Now they want my help? But then I think about Ben, caught between his wife and his parents, about Noah, who despite everything loves his grandparents, about karma and how it's finally caught up with the mighty Mitchells. 2 conditions, I say finally. First, they contribute to household expenses. No freeloading. Of course, Ben agrees too quickly. Second, they treat this house, and everyone in it, with respect. 1 snide comment, 1 superior attitude, and they're out. There's a long pause. I'll make sure they understand. No, Ben. You won't make sure of anything. They'll hear it from me, directly. My voice is steady now, certain. Those are my terms. Another pause. Okay. After we hang up, I stand in my kitchen, my perfectly adequate, frequently criticized kitchen, and let a small smile play across my lips. Henry and Carol Mitchell, living in my modest home, eating off my fake silver depending on my charity. Sometimes revenge doesn't need to be planned. Sometimes it simply arrives, wrapped in the package of karmic justice, and hands you the perfect opportunity to serve it cold, one day at a time. I pick up my phone again. Time to call Grandma Rose. This is going to be interesting. 3 moving trucks pull into our driveway at precisely 9 in the morning. Not U-Hauls or rental vans, professional movers with crisp uniforms and white gloves. I watch from the kitchen window as they begin unloading what looks like an entire mansion's worth of furniture. They're just bringing the essentials, Ben says behind me, his voice tight with anxiety. Essentials? I turn to face him. That's a crystal chandelier they're carrying. Before he can respond, Carol sweeps through our front door like she's entering a charity ball, Henry trailing behind her with their Yorkshire Terrier, Princess, tucked under his arm, the dog that supposedly couldn't possibly stay with their cousin Martha because she's allergic to common spaces. Summer, darling, Carol air kisses near my cheek. Where should we tell them to put the armoire? The master bedroom, I assume. The master bedroom is occupied, I say flatly, by its masters. Carol's perfectly penciled eyebrows arch upward. Oh, but surely you'll want us to be comfortable? That guest room is barely large enough for a proper bed set. You mean Noah's room? Well, he's not using it anymore, is he? She waves dismissively. Henry, tell them to bring the armoire upstairs. We'll figure out the logistics later. I step between Carol and the staircase. No, we'll figure them out now. Your furniture stays in Noah's room or it goes into storage. Henry finally speaks up, his voice carrying that familiar condescending tone. Now, Summer, be reasonable. That armoire is an antique. It needs proper space and lighting. Then I suggest you find proper storage for it. I meet his gaze steadily. This isn't a negotiation. The movers pause in our entryway, a massive mirror balanced between them. Carol's face reflects in it, her expression shifting from surprise to calculation. Ben, darling, she turns to her son. Surely you can explain to your wife about the value of these pieces. They're family heirlooms. Ben shifts uncomfortably. Mom, we discussed this. There's limited space. Limited space? Henry barks out a laugh. In this whole house? Really, son? I thought we taught you better than to... Enough! My voice cuts through the room like a blade. Either the furniture fits in Noah's room or it goes to storage. Those are your options. Princess starts yapping, adding to the chaos. Carol clutches her pearls. Real ones, I notice, despite their supposed bankruptcy. But where will we put the dining set? And my china cabinet? You mean the dining set that's bigger than our dining room? I gesture to the movers. Storage. This is absurd, Henry sputters. We can't possibly. You can, and you will. I turn to the movers. Anything that won't fit in the second bedroom goes to storage. I'll sign whatever forms you need. Carol's face turns an interesting shade of red. Ben, are you going to let her? Yes, he is. I don't let Ben answer. Because this is our home, not your showcase. The next hour passes in tense silence as the movers navigate our narrow stairs with what pieces will fit. Carol keeps making little distressed noises every time something gets redirected to storage, while Henry stands by the window, rigid with barely contained fury. By noon, Noah's room is cramped but habitable, and the moving trucks depart with most of the Mitchells' precious heirlooms. I hand Carol a set of keys to their new space. Dinner's at 6, I tell them. I'm making lasagna. Store-bought sauce, I suppose, Carol mutters under her breath. I smile, sweet as arsenic. Actually, it's my grandmother's recipe, the one you said was quaint at Noah's graduation dinner. I'm sure you'll manage to choke it down. As I head to the kitchen, I hear Henry whisper to Carol, "This is temporary, dear, just temporary." But I catch my reflection in their precious mirror, now awkwardly wedged between Noah's desk and the wall, and I see something they don't, the satisfaction in my eyes. Because temporary or not, they're about to learn exactly what it feels like to live by someone else's rules. I start pulling ingredients from the cupboard, humming softly. Grandma Rose's lasagna recipe isn't just quaint, it's a weapon, and tonight's dinner is going to be the first battle in a war they don't even know they're fighting yet. The antique silver spoons are missing. I notice it while cleaning the kitchen, the empty slots in Grandma Rose's display cabinet like missing teeth. 3 generations of family history, gone. My hands shake as I dial Ben's number, but it goes straight to voicemail. Of course it does. He's been working late every night since his parents moved in, avoiding the tension at home. I find Carol in Noah's room, arranging her perfume bottles on his desk. The space still smells like his aftershave, but it's fading under the suffocating cloud of Chanel. Where are the spoons? I lean against the doorframe, watching her reflection in her precious mirror. What spoons, darling? She doesn't turn around, just continues organizing her bottles with precise movements. Grandma Rose's silver, the ones you said weren't real enough for your taste. Oh, those old things, she waves dismissively. I took them to be appraised. Professional curiosity, you understand? My fingernails dig into my palms. Without asking? Really, Summer, they were just gathering dust in that tacky display case. She finally turns, her smile sharp as a blade. Besides, I thought you'd be pleased. Turns out they're worth quite a bit more than I expected. The implication hits me like a slap. You sold them. Technically, Henry did, but yes, they've been sold. She adjusts her pearl necklace. We have certain obligations to maintain. Those spoons belong to Grandma Rose, and now they belong to someone who will appreciate their true value. She picks up a crystal perfume bottle. Unlike some people, we understand the importance of maintaining appearances. I step into the room, close enough to smell her expensive perfume. Where's the money? That's hardly your concern. She sprays the perfume, the cloud of it making my eyes water. Though, if you're worried about compensation, I'm sure we can arrange something. Perhaps trade for that ghastly cabinet. It's really bringing down the room's aesthetic. The rage builds slowly, like pressure in a sealed container. You had no right. We had every right. We're family. Her voice drips with condescension. And family helps each other maintain their position in society, something you've never quite understood. I hear Henry's heavy footsteps on the stairs before he appears in the doorway. Is there a problem here? Summer's upset about those old spoons, Carol tells him. The ones we discussed. Henry's face hardens. That matter is closed. We needed to liquidate some assets to maintain our club membership. It's essential for networking. Your club membership? My voice sounds strange, even to my own ears. You sold my grandmother's heirlooms for a country club fee? Now, Summer, Henry starts, using that patronizing tone I've heard for 15 years. Sometimes sacrifices must be made to get out. They both stare at me. What did you say? Carol's voice rises an octave. Get out of this room. Now. My hands are steady now, my vision crystal clear. And if those spoons aren't back in that cabinet by tomorrow morning, I'm calling the police. Henry steps forward, drawing himself up to his full height. You wouldn't dare. Think what that would do to Ben's reputation. Ben's reputation? I laugh, and it sounds like breaking glass. You mean the son you're stealing from? The one working overtime to support you while you sell his family's heirlooms? We are his family, Carol snaps. No. I move to the door. You're parasites wearing family's skin, and you have exactly 24 hours to make this right. Or what? Henry challenges. I smile, thinking of the photos I took of the cabinet this morning, documenting every piece. Of the text messages from Carol about the appraisal, of the receipt I found in the trash from Golden Age Antiques. Or I'll show everyone exactly what kind of family you really are. I pull out my phone. Starting with your precious country club board, I wonder how they'd feel about members who steal from their own relatives. The color drains from Carol's face. Henry's mouth opens and closes, but no sound comes out. 24 hours, I repeat, then close the door behind me. In the hallway, I press my forehead against the cool wall, listening to their urgent whispers through the door. My hands are shaking again, but not from anger this time. This is something else, something that feels dangerously close to satisfaction. I head downstairs to call Grandma Rose. It's time to bring in the cavalry. Ben comes home late again, his tie loose around his neck, eyes bloodshot from another endless day at the office. I'm waiting in the kitchen, Grandma Rose's empty display cabinet like an open wound between us. Your parents sold the silver. The words fall into the silence between us. He stops, briefcase still in hand. What? The antique spoons. Your mother had them appraised. Your father sold them to keep their country club membership. His shoulders slump, but he doesn't look surprised, not surprised enough. I'll talk to them. You knew... The realization hits me like ice water. You knew they were planning this. They mentioned needing to liquidate some assets. Assets? My laugh sounds foreign to my own ears. Those weren't their assets to liquidate. He sets down his briefcase, loosens his tie further. Summer, they're trying to maintain certain connections, for business purposes. Business purposes? I step closer. What business, Ben? The one they bankrupted? Or the new scheme they're plotting from our guest room? His silence tells me everything. How much do they owe? Summer, how much? He sinks into a kitchen chair. They've been borrowing from my savings account for the past 3 weeks. The room tilts slightly. Your savings account? They needed bridge money just until the account we set aside for Noah's graduate school? His silence is deafening. How much, Ben? 48,000. The number hits me like a physical blow. I grip the counter to stay upright. When were you planning to tell me? They promised to pay it back. Dad has a new investment opportunity. Stop. My voice doesn't shake. I'm almost proud of that. Just stop. They're family. No. I turn to face him fully. Noah is family. I am family. They are parasites who are bleeding us dry and you're holding the knife for them. That's not fair. Fair? I gesture to the empty cabinet. Was it fair when they sold my grandmother's heirlooms? Was it fair when they took our son's future without asking? I didn't give them permission, but you knew. You knew and you said nothing. He stands, reaches for me. I step back. Where do you go every night, Ben? His hand drops. Work, you know that. Do I? I pull out my phone, show him the photo Carol accidentally left open on her tablet. Him at the country club bar with his parents and some men in expensive suits. Looks like an interesting business meeting. It's not what you think. I think you're helping them set up their next scheme. I think you're choosing them over us. Again. They need me. And we don't? His silence stretches between us like a chasm. Noah calls, asks why we haven't deposited his monthly allowance. I've been covering it from my salary, telling him there was a bank error. My voice remains steady. Should I tell him the truth? That his grandparents stole his future and his father helped them do it? Summer, please. No. I hold up my hand. You have a choice to make, Ben, right now. Either you tell your parents to return every penny and every item they've taken, or I call Noah myself. You wouldn't. Try me. I meet his gaze. I've spent 15 years watching you choose them over us. I won't watch them destroy our son's future, too. He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture so familiar it hurts. I'll handle it. You have 24 hours. I head for the stairs. And Ben, I've already called the bank. Your access to our joint accounts is suspended. You had no right. I had every right. I stop on the first step. I'm protecting our family. Someone has to. I leave him standing in the kitchen, staring at the empty cabinet that started it all. Upstairs, I can hear Carol's television through the wall, Henry's muffled voice on the phone, probably plotting their next move. They think they're so clever, playing their games, manipulating their son. But they've forgotten something crucial. I learned from the best. 15 years of watching them scheme and manipulate taught me everything I need to know about playing the long game. And I'm just getting started. Grandma Rose arrives like a storm front, her walker thumping against our hardwood floors with the rhythm of approaching thunder. I watch from the kitchen as she makes her way to the living room where Henry and Carol are holding court, their morning coffee served in my best china. So, Grandma Rose says, settling into my armchair, I hear you've been selling my silver. Carol nearly drops her cup. Henry's newspaper crinkles as his grip tightens. Rose, Henry starts, using his businessman voice. There seems to be some misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding, Grandma Rose cuts in, is you thinking I wouldn't find out. I lean against the doorframe, watching Carol's perfectly manicured fingers drum against her cup. The sound echoes like a countdown. We had every intention of replacing them, Carol says smoothly, with something more suitable for the house. Suitable? Grandma Rose's laugh could strip paint. Those spoons survived the Depression, 2 wars, and my late husband's gambling phase. They weren't meant to fund your country club dues. Ben appears at the top of the stairs, drawn by the commotion. Our eyes meet briefly before he looks away. Now see here. Henry stands, his face flushing. We've made certain arrangements. Yes, I know all about your arrangements. Grandma Rose pulls out a folder from her bag, including the 48,000 you borrowed from my great-grandson's college fund. The color drains from Henry's face. Carol's coffee cup clatters against its saucer. How did you? I have friends at the bank. Grandma Rose's smile is razor sharp. Friends who remember when you tried to convince my late husband to invest in your foolproof scheme back in '82. Ben takes a step down the stairs, then stops, caught between worlds as always. This is a family matter, Henry says stiffly. Exactly. Grandma Rose opens the folder. And since this is my house, and those were my spoons, and that's my great-grandson's future you're gambling with, I'd say I'm very much family. She pulls out a document, slides it across the coffee table. What's this? Carol's voice trembles slightly. A choice. Grandma Rose's eyes are flint. Either you return every penny you've taken, replace every item you've sold, and start paying rent. Real rent. Not this freeloading arrangement. Or you leave. Today. You can't, Henry starts. I can and I am. She pulls out another document. Or would you prefer I share these bank records with the bankruptcy court? I'm sure they'd be very interested in knowing about the assets you've been hiding. The silence that follows is absolute. Even Princess stops her incessant yapping. Ben, Carol appeals to her son. Surely you won't let them... Don't. My voice surprises even me. Don't you dare try to manipulate him again. Ben takes another step down, then another, until he's standing beside me. His hand finds mine, squeezes once. The spoons will be returned by tomorrow, he says quietly, and I've already contacted the bank about reversing the transfers. Henry's face turns purple. You ungrateful. No, Dad. Ben's voice is stronger now. You don't get to call anyone ungrateful, not after what you've done. Carol starts to cry, perfectly timed tears that have worked so well in the past. But something's different now. Ben doesn't rush to comfort her. Instead, he turns to Grandma Rose. How much rent? She names a figure that makes Henry choke. That's highway robbery. No. Grandma Rose stands, leaning on her walker. That's market rate. Take it or leave it. You have 1 hour to decide. She makes her way toward the kitchen, pausing beside me. Summer, dear, I believe it's time to call Noah. He should know what's happening to his future. The look of panic that crosses Henry and Carol's faces is almost worth everything they've put us through. Almost. As Grandma Rose disappears into the kitchen, I pull out my phone and dial Noah's number. Ben's hand tightens around mine as it rings. Mom? Noah's voice comes through clear and confused. What's going on? Why is Grandma Rose texting me about lawyers? I look at Henry and Carol, their perfectly crafted world crumbling around them, and feel something like peace settle over me. Honey, I say, we need to talk about your grandparents. Noah's voice cuts through the kitchen like a blade. You're telling me they stole my tuition money? I grip the phone tighter, watching through the window as Ben confronts his parents in the backyard. Their voices carry through the glass, Henry's indignant protests, Carol's theatrical sobs. We're fixing it, I tell Noah. Your father's already started the process to reverse the transfers. That's not the point, Mom. His voice sounds older somehow, harder. They've been living in our house, eating our food, and the whole time they were... He breaks off. And Dad knew? I close my eyes. He made a mistake. A mistake? Noah laughs, bitter and sharp. Is that what we're calling it? Through the window, I watch Ben hand his father a document. Henry crumples it, throws it at Ben's feet. Carol clutches her pearls, the ones I now suspect aren't even paid for. I trusted them, Noah says quietly. All those times they talked about helping with grad school, about their connections in the industry. Was any of it real? Before I can answer, a crash from upstairs makes me jump. Noah, I need to go! His voice is flat. I have to call the financial aid office anyway. See what my options are without the money you and Dad promised. The call ends before I can respond. Another crash sends me running upstairs to find Carol ransacking Noah's room, pulling books from shelves, emptying drawers. What are you doing? Looking for my grandmother's brooch. She yanks open another drawer. Since you're forcing us out, I'm taking what's mine. That brooch was a gift to Noah for his graduation. A family heirloom, she whirls on me, which you've never deserved. Like the spoons you sold? Her hand comes up so fast I barely see it move. The slap echoes in the small room, but the sting is nothing compared to the satisfaction of seeing her face when she realizes what she's done. "Carol!" Ben's voice from the doorway is ice. "Get out." "Darling," she provoked. "Get out!" She flees, leaving chaos in her wake. Ben reaches for my cheek, but I step back. "Don't." "Summer." Noah's dropping out. The words fall like stones. He can't afford next semester without the money your parents took, the money you helped them take. His face crumples. "I'll fix it. I'll work overtime, take a second job." "That's not the point." I gesture at the destroyed room. "Look at what they've done to us, to our son, and you let them. I never meant to choose them over us, again." I start gathering Noah's scattered belongings. "But you did. Every time." Heavy footsteps on the stairs herald Henry's arrival. "Benjamin, this is ridiculous. We can discuss this like reasonable." "Reasonable?" I straighten, Noah's childhood trophy clutched in my hands. "Was it reasonable to steal from your grandson? To sell my grandmother's heirlooms? To destroy your son's marriage?" "Our marriage isn't," Ben starts. "Isn't it?" I set the trophy down carefully. "Noah won't speak to you, I can't look at you. And your parents are still here, still manipulating, still destroying everything they touch." Henry draws himself up. "Now see here." "No, you see here." I pull out my phone, dial quickly. "Hello, Officer Martinez? Yes, I'd like to report a theft, and I have proof of unauthorized bank transfers." "You wouldn't dare," Henry sputters, "but I would. I am." Ben doesn't try to stop me as I list out every item taken, every dollar stolen. He doesn't move when his father threatens legal action, when his mother wails about family loyalty. He just stands there, watching his carefully constructed world burn. After I hang up, the silence is deafening. "You have 30 minutes to pack," I tell Henry and Carol. "The police will be here soon to take your statement." "Summer," Ben's voice breaks. "What have you done?" I look at my husband, this man I've loved for 20 years, who I thought would always choose us first, and feel nothing but tired. "What you should have done weeks ago." I head for the stairs. "I'm protecting our family, even if it means protecting them from you." The sound of police sirens in the distance feels like both victory and defeat. Sometimes winning feels exactly like losing everything. The police interview takes place in our living room, the same room where Henry and Carol once criticized our furniture choices. Officer Martinez sits in my second-hand armchair, taking notes while Henry tries to explain away $48,000 of unauthorized transfers. "It was a family arrangement," he insists, straightening his tie for the 100th time. "A simple misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" Noah's voice cuts through the room as he appears in the doorway, travel bag still in hand. I hadn't expected him home so soon. "Is that what you call stealing my future?" The room freezes. Carol reaches for him. "Darling, we never meant—" "Don't touch me." Noah steps back. "Don't you dare touch me." Ben moves forward. "Son." "Not you either." Noah's voice shakes. "Especially not you." Officer Martinez clears her throat. "Mr. Mitchell, about these bank records." "This is ridiculous," Henry stands. "We're leaving. Our lawyer will—" "Sit down." Grandma Rose appears behind Noah, her walker thumping against the hardwood. "You're not going anywhere until every penny is accounted for." "You can't keep us here," Carol says, but her perfectly manicured hands tremble. "No," I step forward, "but the police can." Henry's face turns purple. "After everything we've done for you." "Done for us?" Noah laughs, harsh and broken. "You mean like when you told my friend's parents I got into Princeton on diversity quotas? Or when you convinced Dad to invest my college fund in your schemes?" Ben pales. "How did you—" "The bank called me directly." Noah's eyes are hard. "They wanted to verify the transfers, all of them, including the ones you approved, Dad." The silence that follows is deafening. Officer Martinez's pen scratches against her notepad. "We were protecting you," Henry says finally. "Teaching you the value of—" "The value of what?" I cut in. "Theft, manipulation, using your own grandson as an ATM?" "You don't understand," Carol starts. No, you don't understand. Noah drops his bag. I dropped out today, withdrew from all my classes, because thanks to you I can't afford next semester. Ben steps forward. Noah, please, I can fix this. Like you fixed it when they sold Mom's wedding silver? Or when they took over my room? Or when they... I was afraid! Henry's shout silences the room. Is that what you want to hear? I was afraid of losing everything. Status, respect, family. So you decided to steal it from me instead? Noah's voice cracks. Henry? Officer Martinez stands. I think it's time we continue this conversation at the station. This is absurd. Carol clutches her pearls. We're family. No, I say quietly. Family doesn't steal from family. Family protects each other. Something you never understood. Ben, Henry turns to his son. Tell them we had permission. But Ben isn't looking at his father. He's looking at Noah, at the son whose future he helped compromise. At me, the wife he failed to protect. Officer Martinez, Ben's voice is steady. I'd like to make a formal statement about those transfers. Henry's face crumples. Carol starts to cry, real tears this time. Benjamin, please. Enough. Ben straightens. It's time to face what we've done. All of us. As Officer Martinez leads Henry and Carol out, Noah turns to his father. Why? The question hangs in the air. Why did you let them? Ben looks at his son, then at me, and for the first time I see real understanding in his eyes. Because I was a coward, he says simply. But I'm not anymore. Noah nods once, picks up his bag. I'll be at Grandma Rose's. After he leaves, Ben and I stand in the wreckage of our living room. The space feels larger somehow, cleaner, despite the chaos. Summer, he starts. Don't. I hold up a hand. Not yet. He nods, understanding at last that some breaks take time to heal. That sometimes the greatest act of love is stepping back and letting the wounds breathe. Through the window, I watch Officer Martinez's car disappear around the corner. Sometimes revenge doesn't taste sweet or bitter. Sometimes it just tastes like truth, finally spoken aloud. The antique spoons return on a Tuesday, wrapped in newspaper and smelling of tarnish. Ben places them on our kitchen counter without a word, his hands lingering on the worn silver. Each piece carries a story, holidays, celebrations, quiet Sunday dinners before everything fell apart. Noah's application for readmission was accepted, I say, watching Ben's reflection in the window. Grandma Rose offered to cover his tuition. I'll pay her back. He unwraps another spoon. Every penny. That's not why she did it. He nods, understanding finally what family really means. Not obligation or status, but choice, protection, love without conditions. The doorbell rings. Through the glass, I see Henry and Carol on our porch, looking smaller somehow without their designer clothes and practiced superiority. The court-mandated restitution hearing is tomorrow, but they're here now, standing on our doorstep like strangers. We don't have to answer, Ben says, but I'm already moving. Some conversations need to happen, not for closure, but for truth. Carol speaks first. We've sold the club membership, and the vacation timeshare, Henry adds. The proceeds should cover most of what I took from Noah. I notice the separate pronouns, the way Carol's hand doesn't quite touch Henry's arm. Some breaks can't be mended with money or apologies. Noah's not here, I tell them. We know. Carol's voice wavers. We wanted you to have this. She holds out a small box. Inside, nestled in faded velvet, lies her grandmother's brooch, the one she accused me of stealing. Noah should have it, she says, for his children someday, for the future we almost stole from him. And this, Henry produces a folder. The deed to our old house. It's worth enough to cover the rest of what we owe once it sells. Ben appears behind me. Dad, no. Henry's voice is firm. We did this. We'll face the consequences. I study their faces, Carol's careful makeup hiding exhaustion, Henry's proud posture masking defeat. They're not sorry, not really, but they're broken, and sometimes that's enough. The hearing's at 9, I say, taking the box and folder. Don't be late. They nod, turn to leave, but Carol pauses, looks back. We were wrong, she says simply, about everything. After they're gone, Ben and I stand in our kitchen, surrounded by unwrapped silver and unspoken words. He picks up a spoon, the one Noah used to eat ice cream with on summer evenings. I don't know how to fix this, he admits. Maybe you don't. I take the spoon, feel its familiar weight. Maybe we just build something new instead. The front door opens again, bringing Noah's voice and Grandma Rose's walker-assisted footsteps. They're arguing about dinner plans, about classes, about life, normal family chaos that feels precious now, after everything. Mom? Noah appears in the doorway, sees the spoons. Are those being properly polished? I finish. Want to help? He hesitates, looks at Ben. Something passes between father and son. Not forgiveness exactly, but possibility. Then Noah picks up a cloth and a spoon. Remember when I dropped this one in the garden? He holds up a slightly bent piece. Grandma Rose made me dig for hours. Worth every minute, Grandma Rose settles into her chair. Silver remembers, you know. Every meal, every moment, every mistake and mending. Ben reaches for a cloth, then stops, uncertain. I hand him one, let our fingers brush. Not everything broken can be fixed, but some things are worth the effort of trying. We work in comfortable silence, 4 generations of family history sliding beneath our fingers. Outside, the sun sets on our modest house with its second-hand furniture and priceless memories. Somewhere across town, Henry and Carol are facing their first night of real consequences, learning that status means nothing compared to what they've lost. But here in our kitchen, surrounded by tarnished silver and healing hearts, I realize that revenge isn't always about making others suffer. Sometimes it's about reclaiming what's yours, your space, your truth, your family's future. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you find something even more valuable in the process, the courage to begin again. Noah drops another spoon into the polish, and we all pretend not to notice when Ben wipes his eyes. Some stories don't end with perfect justice or complete forgiveness. They just end with family, gathering around a table set with imperfect silver, choosing each other again and again.